Alright, I finished all my fab work without cutting any holes in the sheet metal. This one was a little tricky to get, so I did a 90 and a couple of 45s clocked at different angles to get that one in without hitting the belt. Got this one here that goes right through here in between the radiator hose and the fans. And the intake, this material was shit. That gave me a lot of trouble to weld. Intercooler mounts. I also did retention brackets to keep the pipes from moving around, especially on this side. It was going to hit the drive belt. So Apex Integrations exhaust. It's been dropped. So what we think happened is maybe that hanger got beat up from getting dropped and shipping or by the customer. I'm not sure. This hanger was missing, so I just MIG welded one there. Welded a V-band to it and built this whole piece to connect the aftermarket 1JZ downpipe to the axle back kit that's meant for the IS300. Got it mounted there on the trans mount. And then here's the intercooler piping stuff. So you can see how tight of a fit it is in there and how close it can be to the drive belt. Don't worry about that, so that's why I did the bracket there. I also notched the sway bar frame brackets to clear, so that it's one less area the pipes are chafing and rubbing on. So now this is all rigid mounted, it's not going anywhere, it's not going to chafe. I also reclocked this hose a little bit, put a zip tie here to hold it against the alternator bracket, so it's just off of the radiator hose. And then the lower bracket that I made, basically two different pieces of angle aluminum welded together up top, and some spacers to allow it to clear there. That's pretty much it. After a long 2-year period of the GRW Development 280ZX being broken with an exhaust leak and an assortment of other issues, I finally decided it was time to stop neglecting it and finally fix it so that it can be driven again. I do a lot of woodworking as a side hobby at home and moved the 280ZX to the shop about 2 years ago, so I had the space to build cabinets in my garage. Moving it in and out of the shop for the last 2 years, unfortunately, has really taken a toll on the car mechanically and electronically, so I was excited to finally break ground on it. Alright, it's finally time to fix the Z. And it looks like the exhaust scheduled maintenance for us. This I'm still like amazed by this. So that's from in and out every single day. Even though Colby ground down this part of the driveway. Oh, it was you? Even though Bo ground down this part of the driveway years ago. Why did I think Colby did it? Maybe he just took credit for doing it. So yeah, I've needed to switch this to oval tubing pretty much forever. And Yeah. So Bo built me a new turbo and downpipe setup, so we're going to retire this old leaking T4 setup, change the oil. I'm going to do the cam swap while he's doing the turbo stuff. Hopefully it'll leave here tonight with a chop on it. Alright. Bo and I came up with the proper strat for all the valve springs, keepers, retainers, all that. So actually, it's probably the fastest we've ever done a spring swap in frame because there were two of us. I think we're gonna go to that as a standard offering now for any cam upgrade we do in house. Just assign 2 technicians to it. It'd be a lot more efficient. But when we get back, he's gonna take over on the turbo install. I'm gonna start working on the white pattern, and maybe we'll hear this thing go vroom vroom tonight. We'll see. battery keeps dying, so I keep forgetting to stay on top of it, but here's kind of where we're at right now. It's Saturday evening. Bo went ahead and left for the day. I had to go to Summit and grab some odds and ends, like I needed a vacuum booster reserve tank. So I grabbed that. I need a sharp 90 here, like we used to use on the LS400 intakes. So I grabbed a short 3-inch, like low profile, tight radius 90. So I'm gonna rework the cold air intake that I built. Bo reworked the charge pipe. We had to reclock the turbo so that it would clear the turbo manifold. So that's reclocked. Redid the pipe here. We got to locate a blow-off valve after we figure out where the intake and everything is going to go. I went ahead and deleted my coolant rail cylinder head mod kit for now. I don't have a need for it. I've got a built motor that I'm getting ready to put in this thing later on anyways. That will be, it'll handle it a lot better. So cam is done. I'm going to put some zinc additive, clearance valve cover for it. And I might hear this thing run tonight. I don't know. We'll see. So I got it running last night, but I was out of space on my SD card, so I did not film it with this camera. So I'll plug in a little clip I filmed with my phone real quick. But that was open downpipe, so today I'm going to work on the intake system. I bought a sharp 90-degree pipe for that, so I got to rework my intake a little bit and then get that finalized, and then I'm going to move on to the exhaust. And then yesterday when I was warming it up, the charging system was not charging. I honestly don't know how long we've been moving this thing in and out of the shop with a bad alternator. That's probably why it's been so difficult lately. So I gotta figure that out. It's probably just a bad alternator. But it's really promising. This thing sounds really good. I got some of the fueling correct yesterday. Once I finish that, I also have a little vacuum reserve tank, which we've used on our individual throttle body kits because there's just not enough supplied vacuum to the booster. But this cam, Bo told me that it really did not provide enough vacuum to the brake booster. So I'm gonna probably mount that in this area. I'll redo, you know, that distribution block. I definitely am gonna end up redoing my catch can setup to -8 hoses. And so once I do that, I'll clean up all this junk here too, and come up with a cleaner solution for that. All right, I've got to make my first cut on the bandsaw, and what I'm going to do is, where I need to cut, there's not enough room to chuck it up in the vise in the bandsaw. So I'm going to weld a burner piece to it so I can clamp the burner piece into the bandsaw and get a nice clean cut. All right, so I need to cut there. The problem is I can't chuck, there's not enough room in my vise for the bandsaw. I've got to clamp it about here. So weld a burner piece to it, snip that off, you get a nice clean cut. Straight cut. All right, I'm gonna go mark my second cut line on the car, and we'll be back. So I have a rough shape so far. I'm going to bead roll this end before I weld this together, and it becomes increasingly more difficult to do so. And I'm going to tack this together. The other intake pipe that I had kind of chucked up in there in that janky way I showed you, there's one more cut I gotta make, but first I need to get this solid so I can see exactly where I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna make one more cut here and rotate this, and I think it will all locate together as far as the geometry goes. And if it looks good, I'll tack it together, and then I'll show you what it's gonna look like for the final product. Okay, that is the next shape that we're building, so I'm gonna go tack it. All I gotta do is clean the whole thing with acetone now and do the finish welding. Okay, Bo and I got in the groove and didn't film anything, but the exhaust is done. He just finished the finish welding, let it cool. So hopefully we won't have literally crushed pipe. Self-ovaling tubing. Upgraded the tile MVS. Changed some hardware here. I had to scoop my cast cans a little bit forward, so I just did something temporary for now. I'm gonna redo that whole thing. Bo's working on trying to get a hanger, so if it bottoms out, give it some extra support. I also changed the alternator because it wasn't charging yesterday, and I had a spare one on the shelf. And with Bo doing the exhaust, it was faster for me to just swap that out rather than lower it down and test it, raise it back up, blah, blah, blah. So, hopefully the parts cannon was correct. Well, there's how the intake fits now. So the reason we had to rework it is because the turbo is a little bit, no, it's a little bit further that way now. So all of the angles were off. We also had to redo the charge pipe with the blow-off valve just to accommodate everything. So it's tucked in there now. And I've been slowly chipping away at just odds and ends. I converted my fusible links, some of which are no longer available, to MIDI fuses. For the alternator portion, I ended up, this is temporary, I'm gonna actually make a proper bracket, but that is a VQ alternator. Pretty much like what Caleb had just done on his Z31. I had a spare one on the shelf from a used motor we sold a customer. And it tested good, so I swapped the pulley over. And I fabricated a little bracket to bolt to the case and use this turnbuckle to tension it. I've got to remake the bracket a little bit to just give us a better angle. And I also need to, I'm probably going to have to modify the lower bracket because it's actually sitting too far this way. It needs to come back this way just a hair. The belt's not squeaking, but you can definitely see it if you look close enough. The belt's a little curved towards the front. And then I just made a plug-and-play harness that plugs into the factory alternator plug. And then you run a new charge wire because this thing is like 110 amps, I think. So you had to upgrade the cable, so we went with a thicker cable to my battery relocation junction block. So that's done. What's left on the list still is I've got to redo the PCV system. I'm going to do catch cans with Dash 8 fittings and hoses, so that looks a lot nicer. I'm going to get rid of that vacuum distribution block and go with a nicer one that's more sleek and hidden. What else? Oh, I put the Recaros in finally. I bought a couple of Z cars a few years ago, and part of the deal was some Recaros with 280ZX brackets. They're a little crooked. I got to modify the brackets a little bit. This side, the sliders were missing, so it doesn't sit 100% like it should, but it's passable. I'm going to change the headlights for ones that work. And I think this thing's pretty much ready to cruise around and drive and enjoy. Oh, the clutch is slipping. So apparently moving it in and out for 2 years glazed the clutch and flywheel, so it slips under boost. So, but it has been very enjoyable having this thing at home and driving it. And it's got a great lope to it. And also the Borg-Warner turbo with the T3 housing sounds so much better. Pretty psyched about that. Let's do a cold-ish start. It is going to be, it's going to be a little bit of an extended crank because I'm still tuning the cranking characteristics.
Got update on Morses. We got a entire new vintage dash, vintage Air installed as well behind the dash. We also have fresh Speedhut. Yep, we got nice fresh Speedhuts. Vintage Air. Radio, I have to pull this back out to put that in. And yeah, and we got the seats. Car is coming along. Interior is essentially done. We are still making progress with the engine bay. Not a whole lot more to go. And hopefully we might have its first start relatively soon. Just needs a bit more wiring done, and we should be pretty close.
Morris's first start.
That was a pretty damn smooth.
Morse is finally getting wheels and tires. Got Freddie with Go Mobile Tires willing to make a extra trip out here outside of his normal service area to help us out with that. So that is super helpful because I am not going to let Discount Tire screw my wheels up again. So if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth area, check out Go Mobile Tires. They were actually recommended to us by BSP. So
I have Wisniewski's car over here. It's been here for a little bit. I don't know if I gave an update about where the engine bay sits, but all the stuff that I took out of the bay to get it painted is back in the bay, aside from the engine wiring harness, or I guess the body harness. I have the dash out. I have all the wiring basically out of the car. This is the dash frame. The original dash is over there. That's the new one. There's the original. So this is a new dash or vintage dash? Question mark. I don't know who it's from, but we're gonna transplant this new cover onto the old frame, and it takes some cutting and some folding and gluing of the material. So it's a little bit of work. We've done it once before on a 280 dash, but this will be the first 240. So obviously it's going to take some massaging to get it to fit correctly, but I'm going to start with, I think, doing the inner bolts, kind of like a sticker, with my way in, out, and out. So I'll force the dash where it needs to be, screw, 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 screws, and then there's more on the top. I mean, there's a bunch, there's all those. So all the ones across the top. So you can do it one at a time and hopefully get it seated where it needs to be. So now Bo is secondary resident dash puller. He's my roommate, dash pull roommate. I got one, and we got two. You using power tools, Bo? Damn. Mr. Morse bought a new dash cover to go on his old busted dash cover.
See it.
Yeah, it's cooked. Broken like Colby's heart. He's fine. This is going to be my general overview of the Vintage Air Gen 5 kit. This is the first time we're installing one in a 240, and I'm not super duper impressed. So first, when you get the shit, there's a lot of stuff, right? And that's fair. Like, there's a box for everything: the condenser kit, the evaporator kit, all the shit, compressor. Like, that's fine, whatever. Each individual part has its own shit. What I don't like is there's like 27 bags of shit that they give you, and 27 different pieces of literature, which I understand also, because I mean there's a bunch of different kits, right? So there's the compressor kit, okay, which goes with that bracket down there. There's this generic hardware kit. There's the condenser kit that's up in front of the car, and there's the warranty page, which also had parts in it. Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
So they give you a bunch of bags of stuff, which is fine. And where it's not fine is when you have all of those bags in the instructions, because the big piece of instruction is the kit, right? The big main evaporator kit. So all this literature, this booklet of instructions. So you would think like they would have some kind of organization like, okay, like you're doing this first. This is bag A of hardware. Okay, cool. So you get bag A out. Boom. Do it. It's like literally just IKEA furniture, right? I mean, I know it's hard to make instructions. I know, because I've filmed videos on this, and like I understand that it's really hard to cover every piece of literature and understand everything, because I do this for a living. If you're just a guy in a garage who has a 240, it's a lot more difficult. So they go through some instruction on like how to take your car apart. Okay, but I don't think that you're supposed to pull the dash out to do this. Like in this whole thing, they don't say anything about taking the dash out, which in my opinion is crazy, because I mean, you saw how big that box is. Like, I think they expect you to snake it through, like you take the glove box out and they want you to put it on the floor like this or something like that. And they want you to move it, put the heater hoses through, and then like snake it under the dash and install it. But yeah, it was hard enough for me to get it in with I have this entire car apart, and this was still like, it's not super easy. I didn't film it the first time because I didn't want to make a clip and then have to backtrack because I didn't understand something and sound like an asshole. So here's all that shit where how they tell you to take the shit apart. They do have this template, which is kind of cool. It's hard to see, but this template, they align it with a notch in the firewall. So it goes from top firewall in notch, and then you can drill 2 holes there and then 2 more holes there for the AC lines to go through. That's not that big of a deal. I did have to remove the factory insulation off the firewall, but whatever. This is a cover plate too for the fresh air vent on the stock blower motor. You can see here 2 holes in AC lines. They don't really have good wiring instructions at all. They say, hey, asshole, just hook it up. But yeah, there's that. The heater hoses here, they are kinked under the dash, and I installed it exactly how they wanted me to. So I'll have to figure something out with that. I haven't done this yet. Oh, it's not bad. Yeah, see, they expect you to put it on the floor, hook the heater hoses up, and then just shove it in the dash, which is crazy. I mean, if you don't have factory AC, you gotta drill 2 holes regardless for the AC lines, but still, like, there's a lot of holes you gotta drill in this thing just to make it work. I do have the condenser kit hooked up. Yeah. The condenser is nice. I do like that. So it's a all-in-one unit, and they have their own brackets that they make that bolt to the firewall or the core support, which is nice. I didn't have that. I had to make the brackets off the just general condenser bracket. The dryer mounts to that same bracket. They have a nice hard line, so this is great. I like that a lot. No problem there. Unless you're turbocharged, then you're gonna have to move the dryer, and that's it. Because if you have an intercooler, then the intercooler is not gonna fit right there with the dryer. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to put the dash back in, and I think I'll be all right, and I can start wiring it up. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shit. So, changing topic, I got Speedhuts in. I got the Speedhuts wired up. You can still pull the gauges out and unplug them. But yeah, got the dimmer in there. I like those a lot. I guess I'll put it back in. Is there anything you want to update, Bo?
Huh?
Is there anything you want to update?
Cut.
Cut. Aren't you supposed to cut right there?
Nope, you're not.
No?
Because that's got to be accessible, and you got to get to these. So, no. Wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you want to help me put this dash back in?
Right this moment?
Exactly right now, yeah.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. Typical. Hater. Oh, look. Another bag of shit. Hulk smash. I had some. Whatever. So this needs to go somewhere. And I need to drill a hole in the car for the wiring harness.
And you already mounted up an ECU on the other side, right?
No, because this is a 240 harness, so it has to be on this side of the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not working with a lot of room there because
have to, but yeah. I know.
that.
That's the struggle. See, I knew this was going to be hot. Other people in the shop had their doubts and their apprehensions about this particular color. It looks a lot more washed out on camera, but it's softball green is the color. It's not the actual color. Chartreuse sherbet is the name, but yeah. It's hard to get the white balance right. Looks good though. This is Wisniewski's L32 stroker that we built. My ITB kit that I put on and made, poured and polished. Oh. Yup, gonna make some jam. I'm gonna film a bit of an update for Wisniewski's car. It's been a minute. I have the engine in the car now. So, there's that. I powder coated a bunch of stuff on the engine. So the alternator pulley is chartreuse, so is the water pump pulley, the valve cover, obviously. Everything else is black. I didn't want too much shit going on because this car is already gonna have all of this chartreuse. Sway bars you won't see, but this strut bar goes across the car, and then these have tie bars that go to the firewall. So there's a lot of green in there. I want to overdo it, so it's kind of green and black combo. Looks nice in there. ITBs are on up there. I got the trans on. I don't have a clutch right now, but it's on to try and mock up the mount because we have to build the 240Z to TL70 transmission mount. Similar to how I did the Hako, but Chris said he wants bushings in there. The Hako had like Delrin bushings on the car. That's just how that mount was, but this one's not the same, so gotta make something work with that. And I have another gripe with the Vintage Air AC system. See this bracket? It didn't used to do this. The sliding motion, we had to add that because Vintage Air had it there, and when I bolted the compressor on, the pulleys didn't line up. So we took it next door and had Kevin put on the manual mill and remove some material so I could slot it back and forth and get the belt pulley alignment perfect, because it was not going to be perfect. Little stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what they tested it on, what their setup was, but it didn't work in my particular application.
Wisniewski's is getting closer and closer to completion. Our goal is to hear it go vroom vroom by the end of the week, barring no complications or me forgetting to order shit.
Big if.
Yeah. Why is he confirming me? I haven't actually looked at these vertical Speedhuts.
You haven't?
No, not in person. Looks a lot better than the traditional style. It looks more correct.
What I want them to do is I want them to do it like the clock,
Yeah.
where they can do dual needle and have that shit in the middle and invert so the sweep
Oh,
is,
yeah.
should be, but I don't think that's, I
Yeah.
don't know how possible it is.
Always ask them and then they'll tell us no.
But it would look really, really cool.
It would. Well, we might be finally doing the first start.
We're just gonna build the oil pressure right now. Yeah?
Yep. Behind the 20 mark.
Oh, hold on. Hold on.
What?
We got, I don't know what fluid's dripping all. You got oil coming out.
Hey, your adapter is still on. For the thing.
Oh, you hadn't.
Yeah. So you're pissing oil.
Nice. Hey, it's got oil pressure.
I gotta forget something.
Solid drop. Solid one
I bet you there's a puddle. There's a good puddle, I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Well, we know the oil pump works.
Cut the video, EPA can't see this.
I hit concrete, not soil.
True.
Nice. Man, fresh new engine bay covered in oil already.
I know.
They went sideways.
Hey, at least you did it in this way and not with it running.
Hey, but that means it built oil pressure up to the head with that opening.
Yeah. I remembered that at like 8 a.m. and then I didn't do it.
Told yourself to do it later.
And first try. Caleb looks like he knows what he's doing. He's just pushing buttons.
Does it need more fuel?
Probably.
I don't think I told it. I didn't set it up right.
Oh, yeah, you're probably still on Woodfolk's tune, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are 36-pound injectors, and
What number is that?
I don't know in CCs, but you can change the unit of measure.
You said it's 3.2, 36-pound injector.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
All right, try again.
See what happens. Yeah.
I need to adjust the TPS.
Okay. We'll wait.
Well, if it doesn't read the TPS, that's what it needs.
Yeah. It's all right, YouTube. We'll wait.
Morse is working without fucked up. It's like it.
Do you want to see if you can make it idle?
Sure.
Just adjust the pusher thing.
Yeah.
That adjusts all of them.
Here, let's just jack it up and let it.
Oh, don't.
Yeah. Well, jack it up and then we can turn it back down. All right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. We got to get it to where we can like reliably like high idle it to break the cam in.
Well, I can.
No, I know. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
I mean, it's got coolant in it.
Okay.
It just doesn't have a fan.
It's got some good chop to it.
Sounds like
It's a 3.2.
Yeah.
it don't sound like a L series.
Oh, were you in fixed timing mode too?
I think so. Can you you also turn down the thing? I don't want it to idle that high by itself. I want it high
Okay.
all through it.
Yeah. Record that with your phone and text it to me. This video is sponsored by...
Hey, there's a curb.
God, that thing scoots. Well, it is the end of October, and we're back on track with the vlogs. So we got this one was a referral from Fitted Garage. It's got a Rebello turbo engine, a bunch of Pro Tuners bolt-ons, and some other stuff that they fabricated over at Fitted that just needs to be finished up. Mr. Minton dropped off for an MS3 Pro Mini and some other bolt-ons. So we're waiting on stuff for that. Got a right-hand drive JDM twin turbo for some electrical problems that we sorted out. This is the same guy that owns that Midnight Purple R33 that stopped by last month. And Conquest, man, we've been going through it with this ECU plug-and-play harness slash not plug-and-play harness. So more on that once we get it back in the shop to kind of go over the kind of a nightmare on that. But I think we're on the trailing end. Got a right-hand drive S13 in for some drivability stuff that I'm still sorting out. So we got some work going. You know, we appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't snooze on our eBay store. You know what it is, used parts, sometimes open box performance parts up for grabs, other goodies. Don't forget about our Amazon store. Shop our merch and some of our other goodies we carry on Amazon. And lastly, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, comment on our videos. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you next month.